Have you ever just stopped right in your tracks on a warm summer day because of this incredibly intoxicating honey sweet fragrance? Well, if so, chances are you were standing right underneath a linden tree. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving deep into the alluring world of the linden blossom. We're going to uncover the secrets of exactly when and how to harvest these magical flowers and how to preserve them to unlock some truly potent health benefits. Now, you might not know this, but among foragers and beekeepers, the linden is affectionately and universally known as the bee tree, and for good reason. During its really short blooming window, over 60 different species of insects will visit its flowers. To put that into perspective, just 1 acre of mature linden trees can pump out enough nectar to produce over 1,000 pounds of uniquely woodsy medicinal honey. I mean, its value to our local ecosystems is just massive. But listen, its value actually goes way, way beyond just feeding our pollinators. The linden tree has this incredibly deep 10,000-year history across Europe. It was literally considered sacred by Germanic and Slavic peoples, closely associated with Freya, the Norse goddess of love. It was essentially the center of village life. Courts and councils would convene right under its branches. It was known as the tree of lovers, of truth, and of justice. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the magic of linden, move into identifying the perfect time to harvest, and then I'll give you a step-by-step harvesting guide. After that, we'll cover drying and storing, explore the health benefits and uses, and finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion and some really important safety tips. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the magic of linden. The cultural footprint of this tree is just astounding. Did you know excavations have shown that Viking ship ropes were actually made from linden bast fiber? That's the inner bark of the tree. And in Poland, the tree is so revered that the entire month of July is named Lipiec, which translates to the month of flowering limes. It's also the literal centerpiece of Berlin's famous avenue Unter den Linden. And historically in the south of France, herbalists would use a decoction of the blossoms to bathe fussy children and calm them down before bed. This is a plant that's been supporting human life for millennia. Moving on to section 2, identifying the perfect time. Out in the field, there are 2 main medicinal species you're going to encounter, the small-leaved linden and the large-leaved linden. Now, how do you tell them apart? It's easy. Just flip one of those heart-shaped leaves over. The small-leaved variety is going to have these little red bunches of hairs in the leaf vein axils. They almost look like fuzzy little armpits, to be honest, and they produce soft lemon-shaped seeds. The large-leaved variety, on the other hand, has this white fuzz underneath and hard, ridged seeds. Both are fantastic for harvesting, so don't stress too much about which is which, but this just helps you confidently identify what's growing in your neighborhood. Now here is the absolutely crucial part, timing. This tree moves fast. In mid-spring, the leaf buds burst. And actually, quick fun fact here, those buds are completely edible and taste exactly like sugar snap peas. But for the flowers, you're looking for a very brief 2-week window that usually hits between May and July. And because the flowers fade so incredibly fast, the absolute perfect time to harvest is right after they open. We're talking within the first 1 to 4 days of the bloom, so you really have to be vigilant. Okay, section 3, step-by-step harvesting guide. All right, so here is your game plan for the actual harvest. Step 1, wait for a dry, warm morning. You want to make sure the morning dew has completely evaporated so you don't end up with moldy flowers. Step 2, when you're picking, you're not just plucking off the tiny little flowers. You need to snap off the entire flower cluster attached to that pale strap-like leaf called the bract. That bract is super important because it contains a lot of the vital mucilage and flavor. And finally, step 3 is all about your gear. Place your harvest gently into a breathable, open weave basket. Never ever stuff them into plastic bags. They'll just sweat and spoil before you even get home. A really common beginner mistake is picking blossoms at the wrong stage. A perfect blossom is going to have fresh, yellow or green stamens and a bright, sweet honey fragrance. A past its prime blossom, however, will have brown stamens. That means it's already been heavily pollinated and is dying back. You definitely want to leave those brown ones right there on the tree, because if you brew them, they actually produce a heavy, kind of unpleasant sedative effect. Nobody wants that. Which brings us to section 4, drying and storing properly. Getting the harvest home is only half the battle. To protect the delicate, highly volatile aromatic oils of these blossoms, you really have to follow some strict rules. Do spread them out in a single layer on screens in a warm, dark, well-ventilated room for about 5 to 7 days. Or if you happen to live in a super humid climate, do use a dehydrator. Just make sure it's set very low, around 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Now for the don'ts. Don't ever dry them in direct sunlight or in a hot kitchen oven. You'll literally bake all the flavor and medicine right out of them. And lastly, don't store your finished herbs in metal containers because the metal can actually interact with the plant's compounds. Once your drying process is underway, here's how you finish it up. First, before you pack anything away, make absolutely sure the flowers and those bracts are completely brittle and crumbly. Literally, if there is any residual moisture, it's going to cause mold. Step 2, pack them tight into airtight glass jars or sealed paper bags and tuck them away in a cool, dark cupboard. Step 3, to get the absolute best quality, the best aroma, and the most medicinal potency, you're going to want to use up your Linden stash within 6 to 12 months. All right, Section 5, Health Benefits and Uses. So why go through all this effort? Well, the linden blossom is just an absolute powerhouse of traditional and scientifically backed benefits. It's a gentle soporific and nervine. Basically, that means it soothes frazzled nerves, calms your anxiety, and acts as a really wonderful nighttime remedy for nervous insomnia. It's also a diaphoretic, meaning it warms the body from the inside and promotes sweating, which can help break colds and fevers. Over time, regular use can even act as a mild hypotensive, gently reducing blood pressure. Oh, and topically, infusing linden into creams works absolute wonders for dry, irritated skin. It's just a remarkably versatile, calming tonic for the whole body. And I've got a great little tip for you here. There's a special French herbalist method that unlocks these benefits even further. A standard 10-minute tea is lovely, for sure, but try making a deep decoction. You just place a handful of the blossoms, fresh or dry, into a small pan, cover them with water, and bring it all to a gentle simmer. Then turn off the heat, pop the lid on, and literally just let it sit there overnight. By the morning, the liquid turns this gorgeous deep red or brown color. It acts as a fantastic, healthy alternative to wind down with that's packed with deeply relaxing properties. It is perfect for winding down after a stressful day. Finally, we arrive at Section 6, Conclusion and Safety Tips. Now, I need to remind everyone to please forage responsibly. Trees are really prone to absorbing and bioaccumulating heavy metals and pollutants, so you should never harvest linden blossoms from busy streets or highly polluted urban parks. Always inspect your clusters to make sure they're completely clean and free of bird droppings or little pests. And while linden is generally very safe for most ages, it's a good idea to limit your intake to about 2 to 3 cups a day just to avoid any negative side effects. And it goes without saying, but always consult a professional or your doctor if you're trying to treat a specific medical condition. So we've covered the history, the exact harvesting techniques, proper preservation, and the incredible health benefits of this ancient, magical bee tree. Now, the rest of the journey is up to you. Armed with this new botanical knowledge, it's time to step outside, listen for the hum of the bees, and follow that intoxicating honey-sweet scent. The question is, where will you go to find your first linden tree and forge your own memories? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy foraging!